Episode 31, Mount Gox, still causing trouble.
Interested in Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is a very vague concept to a lot of people.
Need to know more about cryptocurrency?
We're going to talk about the basics. This is something that people just have no idea about what crypto is.
How about buying, selling, and mining?
Tony, I think that's one of the things that's going to make us a little different from some other shows.
We're getting our hands dirty.
Then listen to Gary Leland and Tony Sakala, better known as the Crypto Cousins, on the Crypto Cousins podcast. This week's price.
Price of Bitcoin, $9,189. That's down $1,722.99, which is over 15.8% over the last 7 days. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to Crypto Cousins. Gary Leland here.
And this is Tony Sakala.
Tony, this is quite a drop in the last week. I hate announcing these prices when they drop this much.
Yeah. Some people say, look, nothing can go up in a straight line. So, it makes sense that we're going to have market corrections.
Well, I'm ready for this market correction to be over with, but I think today's topic, talking about Mount Gox, has a little bit to do with that market correction maybe, which we'll get into in a little bit there. Anything exciting happened on your end since we talked last?
Well, we're learning how to do different mining, and I'm excited about.
What are we mining now?
We're trying to mine Ravencoin.
I know we're getting a lot of it.
We're getting a lot of it, that's for sure, because it's a new coin, and one of our readers mentioned it, and I saw online, and our friends at Bits Be Trippin' are doing a lot of mining on Ravencoin. So it's kind of like a throwback to the old Bitcoin days when you actually could get like 20, 30, 40, 50 coins every couple hours. So, of course, the flip side is it's only worth a few Satoshis at this point.
Well, if Ravencoin even becomes worth a dime, we're going to have made a lot of money. So we're either going to waste a lot of mining capacity or make a lot of money. One of the two, right?
That's always the case. Are we burning electricity or not?
Yeah, that is the case for sure. So I'm hoping it is fun to see all the coins pile up in the wallet there. So hey, I want to make sure everybody knows we need you to join our Facebook group. You ought to want to join our Facebook group. I mean, we have a ton of people in our Facebook group, and it's a great community to ask questions, and we do things there. We're starting to do things there first before they release to the public. But go to Facebook.com and just search Crypto Cousins. You'll find the group, that's for sure. But I also want to tell people about our meetups. First of all, we have, I think yours is first this month, the Dallas Crypto Cousins meetup. Mm-hmm. Then we have the Fort Worth Crypto Cousins meetup. So they can find those at cryptocousins.com/meetup. But the Dallas one's really been pretty good.
Yeah, we've got a lot of excitement there. Folks are coming in with pretty much the same question. How do I secure my Bitcoin wallet? What's the best wallet to get? And it's a great question because it shows you're really thinking about the most important topic in crypto, which is not to let your coins get stolen. I mean, it's just an amazing Wild West out there with exchanges getting hacked, errors and bugs inside software. There's a rumor, or not a rumor, but some people are still wondering about the Ethereum bug that caused the DAO hack, and that maybe some of the hackers out there still have some of these what they call backdoors or hacks or vulnerabilities is the word, still under their hat. They're sort of holding out to see when they could use it next. So that's kind of unsettling for Ethereum. Luckily, the Bitcoin network hasn't had that sort of reputation because the underlying software for Bitcoin is simpler. It does have a scripting language, but it's not trying to be a big computing language where you can do many, many things. So,
yeah, so that's something people are interested in.
Yeah, people are fascinated by that. They really want to secure their money, and our meetups are going really well.
Yeah, and also, I know that's what we're talking about right this second only pertains to people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Also, this Thursday is the first meetup of the Arlington crypto community with crypto coffee at 8 o'clock on Thursday. So if anyone is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and they're interested in joining us for coffee on Thursday, go to arlingtoncrypto.com. I'm not going to go over the whole deal here, but since that just applies to the Dallas-Fort Worth community. But join us for the first Arlington Crypto Coffee on Thursday. So we'll see how that goes. I wonder. I don't have any look to see how many people are coming. I hope someone shows up. If not, I'll have a good cup of coffee.
Well, you're going to have a good cup of coffee, no matter what.
And I like coffee. So, I mean, So I like coffee a lot, as a matter of fact. Hey, I want to make sure and thanks before we go on any further, all of our supporters. We have quite a few people at Patreon, which you can go to cryptocousins.com/Patreon. Or if you just want to find out how to support us, you can go to cryptocousins.com/donate. Or I like to give out our new affiliate link we're using, cryptocousins.com/Binance, BINANCE. If you join Binance, if you set up your Binance account using our affiliate link, doesn't cost you anything, and we make a little dust every time you make a purchase there. So that's a good way to support us, Tony, is with that link, cryptocousins.com/Binance, because every time they do something, we make a little bit.
That would be really nice.
That'd be nice if like 1 million people went there and did something. I mean, that would be really nice. But as it is, we don't have 1 million people going there. But we do have people going there because I saw some dust there.
Cool.
So, and this is the last time I'm going to say this because I'm giving up, Tony. I'm just giving up after this one. But I'm going to give it one more shot.
Okay.
I want a sponsor for every episode, one episode a week for one Bitcoin. I'll give you a whole year for a person. I don't want a company. Matter of fact, the company calls, I'm turning them down. I want a person who's a whale, who just has a buttload of Bitcoin, who wants to say, this show is sponsored by Joe, or this show is sponsored by Nancy, and Nancy likes Bitcoin. That's what I'm looking for. So if there's a whale out there who has an extra Bitcoin that wants a mention on every episode at the beginning, give us a contact at thecryptocousins@gmail.com, because I want to put you as my sponsor. I don't want a company. That's it. That's the last time I'm going there, Tony. I'm giving it up.
Okay.
Unless I get a sponsor, then I'm going to try to sell the other episode. If I get a sponsor, then I'm going to do it again to sell the other episode, because we have 2 episodes a week. Or one person could give me 2 Bitcoins and take both of them. Or I'll give them a break. They can give me a Bitcoin and a half, and they can have both episodes. But that's it. That's it, unless people are probably getting tired of that. But I usually don't give up this easy, Tony.
Well, we do have a lot of great support from our Patreon supporters, and our listeners just do a really wonderful job of supporting us on the Facebook group. That's really, it's been a surprise to me. I've never seen such a group with wonderful support.
Yeah, we do have a lot of support there. That's a great place to go. Hey, I saw this app the other day called Shipping or Shopping. I'm not sure how it is, but it's like shopping without the O. SHPING. I saw it on my iPhone. Maybe it's on Android too. I'll have the link in the show notes. But it's they have a new coin that's coming out, which you're going to be selling, but you got to be out of the U.S. to buy it, of course. 1,000 coins at 1 cent each. The minimum buy is $10 there. But on the app, this app is like an app for shopping recommendations. And so they're building their inventory right now. So if you were if you were in my baseball store and you saw a bat, you can scan the barcode and then put information about it. This is a good bat. It weighs 2 pounds. It's 34 inches long or whatever. And you get rewarded Sping coins for helping them build their database. That's what I'm calling it, Sping, SHPI. But it's a way to make Sping coins by helping them build their database, which I thought was pretty cool. They're offering to let people help them and paying people to help them. Where most people would just want people to help them. So you may want to check out the link in the show notes. But like I said, if you want to check it out on your iPhone, it's SHPING. I started filling it out and stuff, and I got to the place where it was the Know Your Customer KYC stuff. And I didn't feel like filling all that out just to test it, to be honest with you. So
Yeah. No, well, it's, how it is. You're either paying or you're paying with your privacy.
Yeah.
You are either the customer or you're the product. So, but I do like that people, get rewarded for giving information. And, when Facebook asks me, hey, can you give us some feedback on our new this or that and take our questionnaire? And I close that window so fast, my hand hurts. I click the mouse so fast. I mean, it's just like $1 billion company. Let's just give them free market research. Same thing with Google. Help us out. No, I'm not helping you out. Sorry.
Yeah, I actually don't help them out either, I have to admit. But like I said, Spring might be worth helping out since they will give you some Spring. So did you see this crypto heater?
I remember reading about it, but I hadn't seen it recently. Tell me about it, Gary.
Okay, there's this heater called the QC-1 crypto heater. And it's got 2 GPUs in it, and it heats. The heat from mining Bitcoin is what heats your room up. And so you turn it on. It costs $3,600, and it warms up your room. And the link will be in the show notes by mining Bitcoin. And I think when I originally saw it, I think it said something like it might possibly mine $100 worth of Bitcoin a month. And I guess that has a lot to do with how cold it is and how much just how cold it is, I guess, is what it has to do. And the price of Bitcoin as to how much it would do. So at first I was thinking, I said, oh, well, that's not bad. You might make your money back in 3 years. You're going to pay for heat anyway, right?
Right.
So it's not like you're like spending money on something you're not using. You're paying for the heat anyway. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know how much a heater costs for one room. That sounds a lot for a one-room heater to me. But then I started thinking about it, like maybe if you were in like Alaska, or Siberia, it might pay for itself kind of quick where it's cold. But if you were down here in Texas, you're probably just going to turn the heater on like a total of 30 days a year. Right? I mean, how long do you have your heater on?
Right. Because then in the summertime, it's not going to be so good.
Well, even in half the winter, you're not going to have your heat on. Like, I don't have my heat on today. I mean, it's still March. So I figure maybe you'd get 200 a year out of that. Then I was thinking, okay, so how many years is that going to take to break even? But then I started thinking again, how more difficult Bitcoin gets to mine every year. So, I mean, before long, you're not going to be mining but $25 worth of Bitcoin a month, as it gets harder to mine. And the difficulty cuts, the amount you get per block cuts in half. So I don't know if you could ever make your money back unless you lived in, like I said, the Arctic Circle.
Well, maybe it's targeted for people living in the Arctic Circle.
Maybe it's just targeted for people
that is a market.
With a lot of money who have nothing better to spend it on. That's what I'm thinking. There are a lot of rich people out there that can't spend all their money in their life even if they wanted to.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Well, I think we see a lot of interesting products in the crypto space that really have no purpose other than, that it has something to do with crypto. I just keep coming back to Long Island blockchain. I mean, I love that. I grew up in Long Island.
With Long Island Tea, they changed the name to Long Island blockchain. Their stock goes up 400%. Now, that would have been something good to know about ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Would that have been insider trading? If you
Insider tea.
Yeah. Hey, also, I want to announce Morning Coffee with Gary. That's a show I've been doing in the mornings for about a year now. It's Crypto Coffee with Gary now. Did you see my first episode yesterday by any chance?
I did. I tuned in last night. I saw it. Fantastic. I mean,
you can give me the truth here. You can tell me the truth, how much I messed up or something.
First of all, the production value is amazing. Second of all, I'm just amazed that someone's up in the morning, looking, dressed. You've got your jacket on. You're awake. I mean, me, I'm a computer guy, so I'm like sleeping in most of the time. And so I was very impressed. And I thought to myself, wow, you covered a lot of great information that the mainstream media never covers Bitcoin in any fashion. I think Morning Coffee, Crypto Coffee with Gary, I think it could be syndicated. I think maybe you're going to get some phone calls soon.
Well, it's for people to enjoy while they have their coffee. I'm not drinking coffee during it, but it's like a daily news show. And that's the thing we're going to have to see how that works, Tony, because that's the key word there is daily. You know, I'm trying to produce this show daily.
It's always news, right?
Yeah, but
right. No,
doing it daily is the thing, not the news, but doing it daily. So it's 5 minutes or less is my goal, Tony. Just short and sweet. I was going to do 3 short news articles, and I realized each one of them took about 3 to 5 minutes for me to say, and the show wasn't short anymore. So I do one news article every morning and just go over it. I try to find something interesting. I liked my article yesterday about Bitcoin, about Bcash. I thought that was pretty good.
I thought you really covered the topic really, really well.
Well, thank you. When I really don't write the topics, I find news articles and then I kind of change them into my words. But I do give credit to the news article and the writer of the article. So I'm not like claiming it's my stuff. But if anyone wants to see or subscribe to Morning Coffee, Crypto Coffee with Gary, just go to our YouTube page. That's cryptocousins.com/YouTube. And for those who hadn't figured it out yet, our links are cryptocousin.com/something. But if you go to cryptocousins.com/YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel there and you'll get notifications, or just look in the playlist and you'll see we have like 5 or 6 different playlists now. We have Crypto Cousins chat. We have our live shows from the Super Conference. We have Crypto Coffee. We have interviews. We have a lot of stuff in there. So and in our podcast too.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I think you're being a little modest, Gary. I mean, you wrote the show, you produced the show, you filmed the show. You have no camera guy there. I mean, it was really, really well done.
Well, I'm used to being a one-man operation at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I really liked it.
Well, let me know what you think. Send in some comments. Give us some phone comments on that, too. Let us know what you think. I would like your opinion at 747-777-9471. 777-9471, which is our call-in line. So let me know what you think about that. But before we go to our first call-in question, Tony, we have the biggest news of the day to announce. And I'm going to let you announce this, Tony, because this is big, big news.
It's big, big news. It's booming news. Gary and I have been talking about training people and teaching people about cryptocurrency. And we thought, what's a better way to do it than to have a conference here in Dallas, Texas, and bring in some of the big names to do training, to do lectures, and to have a conference with vendors as well. So look forward to those right now, and we'll get back with you with more details. And the date of that is July 13th, 14th, and 15th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Friday is going to be like training sessions.
Exactly.
And then Saturday and Sunday is a conference, I guess. And we've already got a really big name that has agreed to come Friday. We just have to work out some details. Big name.
Big.
So big. And we've already messaged a couple other big names who I'm waiting to hear from. But I think this is going to be big. Did I say that again? We should have called it the Big Bit Block Boom. Because the Big Bit Block Boom. But it's going to be big. That's what I think. So let's go to our and go to the page and get on the list to get information there. And if you have any questions for that, you can also email us at thecryptocousins@gmail.com if you want to sponsor it or know more details, I guess, and we'll try to get to those. But let's get to this week's phone message. Like I said earlier, if you want to give us a phone message or a comment, just call 747-777-9471. We need a little jingle for that, Tony. Call 74. You ever see those commercials? Call 747-777-9471. I'm not a very good jingle singer or maker, as you can tell. But let's go listen to a question from Cousin Steve.
Hey, Crypto Cousins. Steve Repke here. Quick question for you guys. In one of your recent episodes, you talked about the multiple forks that are projected for the future, and it seemed like there were set dates for each of these. Can you help me understand why these forks would not devalue Bitcoin if essentially they are creating new coins in the process? Thanks.
Okay, Tony. Now, why doesn't a fork devalue Bitcoin? Like Bcash.
For every dollar on the planet, for every bit of value on the planet, people have to put it somewhere. So the question is, are forks taking away from Bitcoin? Are people putting money into one of the fork coins? And if there were no forks, if there was only Bitcoin, there's no doubt that there would be more people investing in it. Would the price be higher or lower? I don't know. But I don't think that the interest in cryptocurrencies would be as high if there was no such thing as a fork. If there was only Bitcoin and it was some sort of closed source software that IBM had rolled out and no one else could make a coin or no one else could imagine making a coin, I don't think the field would have grown so quickly, because you have people now with this idea that they can make their own coin, they can do their own, roll their own crypto, so to speak. And it's brought a lot of interest into this space because people want to make money quickly. And, you can't make money as quickly as rolling out your own coin. And I think some of these companies have, made like $1 billion in a day or so. So I think more interest and more coins into the space is actually helping the value of Bitcoin.
Well, I also think that all these forks, it's not like really when you fork Bitcoin, you're taking anything away from Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still its own deal. It's not like you're pulling some of it out. It's just you're copying the code and changing it. And usually a fork has its own usage. Some doesn't. But things that make it different, like Litecoin, that's a fork of Bitcoin. And I don't know that Litecoin being out hurts Bitcoin at all. And Bitcoin private, well, I'm sure, I don't see where that hurts Bitcoin. Or have a Bitcoin diamond, whatever in the heck that was. I mean,
right.
Bcash now, they're doing their best to hurt Bitcoin. If anyone is going to succeed at hurting Bitcoin, it's going to be Bcash, because they're aggressively trying to take down Bitcoin, I think, and be Bitcoin. So this would be the best example.
Someone mentioned the other day, maybe it was you, that these guys that are attacking Bitcoin made their initial wealth from Bitcoin.
Right. Well, sure. Roger Ver, Yifan Wu. I mean, and I'm sure most of them did. Most of the other people involved did. So
to me, that just seems so harsh. Here this coin made you wealthy. Now you attack it.
Well, Tony, that's because you are one of those idealistic people that think we all should get along in a world of kumbaya. And I'm not saying that in a negative way either, Tony. And I'm not being when I say that. That's how you think the world and you hope the world will be.
Let's help each other.
Yeah.
Let's work together to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I understand.
We have disagreements, great, but create something new. Create something new that has wonderful value. Instead of attacking.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole attack thing. And as I said on Crypto Coffee yesterday, I don't understand what the deal is with them calling Bitcoin Core and Bcash Bitcoin. But, that's a whole different subject there. And now we're getting carried off of the original question. But I don't think, also, I agree with Tony, I don't think that the fact that a fork comes off a coin really has to do that much with the original coin. But I guess there are situations where it does, though, Tony. To get back to this question, like if we go with Ethereum, you had, and I want to make sure I'm right on this, you had Ethereum, which is now Ethereum Classic, right?
Correct.
And Ethereum Classic, which was the original Ethereum, decided to fork off and become Ethereum because of a lot of Ethereum that was lost.
Well, lost is a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
stolen is another way of putting it.
And so it forked off, and then now there's two Ethereums, and the original Ethereum Classic is not the value that Ethereum is, right?
Exactly.
So there was
a situation. So I guess maybe Roger's trying to take a play from Vitalik and trying to present himself as the leader, and that this is the new thing, but it's not going over so well.
Well, I hope that answered your question. I don't know if it did or not, Steve, but I guess the
doing
main
our
answer
best,
is
Steve.
it can or it can't.
Depends on how you look at it.
Only time will tell. So maybe we're saying we just don't even know what we're talking about, and now we're just jabbering over here because we ended up on a big thing about Bcash instead. So as you can tell, we're not big Bcash. But I did own some Bcash, but I sold it. So I did own some Bcash.
Right. Everybody who had Bitcoin in a wallet that wasn't on an exchange, immediately got the airdrop.
Right. Okay, now let's go to this week's email question from cousin Jeremy in Auckland, New Zealand. Hey, cousins, thanks for doing such a great show. I listen to your podcast via iTunes on my drive to and from work. Well, thank you very much, Jeremy. One question I do have, do you think Bitcoin's ever going to become a true medium of exchange when the price value is so variable? There is such a limited and decreasing due to loss quantity available. I see it as value as an investment, but I wouldn't want to buy a can of Coke now that in a year would cost me $500. Thanks and keep up the good work. Well, Tony, tell me about those $10,000 sunglasses you have.
Right, exactly. So, when you buy something with Bitcoin and then Bitcoin goes up 1,000-fold, then you really have some buyer's regret. But this really comes back to the Gresham's Law. And we really could do a whole show on Gresham's Law, but it's that bad money drives good money away. So, what does that mean? When you have a currency that is losing value, that's the one you're going to buy the coffee with first. So you want to take all your dollars and spend them as quickly as possible because at the end of the year, your dollar is going to be worth less. If you were in Zimbabwe or Venezuela, I think it was Venezuela where they said that if you bought your beer when you first walked into the bar and then you went to get a second round of beer, the bartender would say there are new prices. Like within 15 minutes, there were new prices for the beer. Your beer could have, doubled in price. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't want to be spending your Bitcoin and until the price stabilizes. So that's why Gary and I are big hodlers. We're hanging on to it.
Yeah, I haven't really spent any of my Bitcoin. I haven't spent any of my currency. Now that I think about it. I'm not a big Bitcoin spender, but I agree with you 100%, cousin. I am 100% behind what you're saying, Jeremy. It's hard to spend that money. I don't want to be like Tony and say I have $1 million pair of sunglasses someday, because that's what's going to happen to Tony. They're going to have to put those in like a gold case because they're going to be so valuable. And you definitely don't want to have
alongside
that.
of the pizza.
Yeah, alongside of the pizza. That'll be it. There'll be 2 pizzas and Tony's sunglasses. Up in display. And people will be going, yeah, there's this guy in Dallas, bought a pair of sunglasses, paid $1 million for them in today's Bitcoin. I want to see those sunglasses someday, Tony.
They're under wraps, let's put it that way.
Okay, they're under protective custody because of the value. You can't
I
afford.
I have to insure them now.
Can't afford to wear those anywhere. Someone might snatch them off your head. Well, let's get on with today's subject is Mount Gox. I didn't have time last night because it's my anniversary, so I got up this morning at 4 o'clock and started researching Mount Gox. Because I really didn't know that much about Mount Gox. And that's one of the great things about this show. When we pick a new subject, it makes me research it and do my homework. But, there's a lot of stuff to this Mount Gox. This was a really big ripoff.
It was a huge ripoff. The original Mount Gox was started. The name is, you told me, you discovered it first. I didn't even know. I have an account at Mount Gox. I looked up my password. My password saver had that I made my account in June of 2011. So I had an account there, and I've forgotten how much I had in it. But the word Mount Gox comes from, what is it? Magic the Gathering online exchange.
Yeah, the card game for Magic the Gathering. A guy named Jed McCaleb, McCaleb, created Mount Gox. He made it one night, because he couldn't buy Bitcoin fast enough. So he made an exchange to buy Bitcoin. So, this was hammered out pretty quick.
It was hammered out quick. So he already had an online exchange for Magic the Gathering.
Well, online site
for it, and then just turned it into a place to buy and sell Bitcoin.
Right. He already had the website up, and I guess he wasn't doing much with it. So instead of getting a new domain and creating a new site to start with, he just took the old site and changed it to Mt. Gox, which I guess I'm assuming that in the game Magic the Gathering, there must be a Mt. Gox. That must be like a mountain or somewhere in there. Mount Gox. So and then after he created it, I saw the interview with him. He goes, I created this, and all of a sudden it took off like crazy, and I kind of realized there are a lot of rules that messing with financial stuff, and I was scared I was going to get in trouble, so I sold it. So the first person who came along wanting to buy it was this French guy named Mark Karpels, Karpels.
Yeah, Mark Karpels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he sold it. So he sold it to Mark, and that's when it really took off, didn't it?
Yeah, and people were interviewing him, and he was big time in it in Japan, and his offices were in Japan, and I thought something interesting. Anyone who's ever done any research on Mt. Gox, you always see this one guy with a sign, Mt. Gox, where's our money? Have you seen that picture?
Mm-hmm.
And it's this guy, he's got usually a little beanie on, he's holding this little sign that's like 1.5 feet wide by 1 foot tall, just sign it says, Mt. Gox, where's our money? And they had him on one of the shows I was watching on YouTube. It was about Mt. Gox. And his name is Colin Burgess from London. And he had, at the time, $320,000 worth of Bitcoin that was lost. And so he flew from London to Japan to the offices to meet Mark Karpels and say, where in the world is my Bitcoin? How much money would that be today? Bitcoin was $565 then. So it's gone up 20 times, approximately?
20 times. 20.
So he had $320,000 worth, and it went up 20 times. Oh, my gosh.
6.4 million.
So, yeah, he had a right to be kind of upset. But, the thing is, he's standing out there, and he must have been there a long time because one day it was summer looking, one day there was snow coming. It looks like this guy's been there for months, Some days he's joined by some people, some days by himself, but he was pretty persistent. And then finally, Karpels, whatever, and 50,000 Bitcoin became missing, according to Mt. Gox, out of people's accounts, at everybody's accounts that had Bitcoin there. 850,000 Bitcoin.
I mean, basically, at the time, it was the only exchange. About 80% of all Bitcoin transactions went through Mt. Gox.
And did you lose any Bitcoin at Mt. Gox?
I have. I'm really blessed with some amnesia about it, so I don't really know exactly how much I had at the time. It might have been 0.26 of a Bitcoin. It might have been 0.0026 of a Bitcoin, or it might have been 26 Bitcoin. I remember the numbers 26, but I don't really remember the details. So I'm actually happy that I don't really remember.
Well, I hope it, for your sake, was 0.026. But that wouldn't matter either way you look at it. So
it's gone.
But it's gone. But I just thought that whole thing was crazy with that guy. 850,000 Bitcoin missing. And then now they have $400 million worth of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. And this is what we were getting to in our story here. 400 million worth of Bitcoin and Bcash, because of the fork, was being dumped on the market starting like around December 18th when it hit its high by the Mt. Gox trustees.
Yes. So the Mt. Gox trustees trying to turn his Bitcoin into fiat because now with the laws in Japan, you have to pay the creditors back in fiat. I mean, I'm just thinking, just give them an address, get those guys a wallet. Why can't you just give them the Bitcoin, right? I mean,
yeah, just give them back their Bitcoin. Why do you got to sell it and give them back cash?
Exactly. So the creditors are being, refunded in fiat. And so this guy's been selling. And the funny thing about it is there's a lot of news about the selling, but I think it's more the news about the selling that is hurting the price than the actual selling. As a writer at Forbes, Chuck Jones, says that the effect on the price is minimal because the total sales were only 1.2% of the volume on any given day. I don't know if Chuck is accurate. I mean, the numbers are probably accurate, but I don't know if that will make a difference.
Well, that's the article you have here. Blaming Mt. Gox for Bitcoin's recent price drop just doesn't compute.
Yeah, that's Chuck's article. So there are a lot of other articles saying that, boy, oh boy, every time this guy comes out, he's messing with the price.
So what is this Goxed? You have up here your first article, Goxed.
Goxed. So there's a term, the Urban Dictionary says that there's a new term called Goxed, and it's the act of being screwed by an online merchant, specifically due to the merchant being incompetent and amateurish, derived from the debacle of MtGox.com, Bitcoin's trading sites crash and burn, and the resulting chaos.
Well, I think that was the case on this because I saw where Jed McCabe said that when he sold it to Mark Karpalus, that he never did anything to update it. He's going to let you he really never updated my original code. I think he was too busy being rich, and making a ton of money.
I mean, we build WordPress websites, man. I mean, you're updating your code like every day. There's always something to update. Right.
Yeah, I saw this Mark Karpalus, and they were somebody was interviewing him, and it was kind of a weird interview because most of the interview I saw, this was back in 2014. Most of the interview I saw was about him showing people how he had made a remote-controlled door lock. It was kind of weird. This guy came over to interview him about Bitcoin and Mt. Gox, and he pushes a button and the door unlocks. And the guy comes in, he pushes the button and unlocks it, and he goes, wow, did you invent that? And he goes, yeah, I made this. And the whole thing was about the door lock. And I'm going, whoa, what is this? He's like all excited about this lock, and here he's got millions and millions and millions of people's money on an exchange, and he's all excited about some lock, that you can buy at Home Depot now. I mean, was it that cutting edge of technology?
It sounds like he was very good at distracting people from the real issues at hand.
That I would have to agree. But this guy, the trustee is, I know I'm pronouncing this wrong, is Nubatia Kobayashi. He's still going to be selling more Bitcoin. He's trying to sell as much as he can for as high as possible to get the money back for the creditors.
Yes, and I think it's going to be selling through September of this year. So people are saying that it's going to affect the price. The concern is that it's going to affect the price. We'll see. We'll see what happens. My viewpoint is, of course, the price of Bitcoin is not as important as the technology. We're still developing new technology around it, second layer payment solutions like the Lightning Network, abilities to scale. SegWit was an amazing addition. SegWit, after SegWit was implemented, and then Coinbase finally implemented SegWit, and they fixed some of their code, the mempool cleared up.
Yes.
We had a recent story with, we talked with Jimmy Song about the mempool, and at the time it was a big clogged mess, and he explained why. And now it seems to have cleared up. So these problems and the screaming and yelling about Bitcoin not scaling, they go away because technology advances.
Well, so you're saying that long term, no matter what he sells, isn't going to hurt Bitcoin. That's what I think you're getting at there.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's probably a big story that people want to talk about. Hey, it's easy to blame.
Well, if you had worked with this guy or just known this Nobukia Kobayashi and knew he was going to do this, you really could have cleaned up off this deal with the futures contracts, couldn't you?
I suppose. Yeah, if you are a financial wizard, knowing how to buy, what are you buying high and hoping it goes low and something like that. I don't understand futures contracts.
Well, I was watching a bar chart last night. A guy was showing it, or this morning early, and was showing every time this guy puts stuff for sale, you could see the candle just dropping. I mean, you could actually see it. You could go, oh my gosh, there's a, it's like small candle, small candle, small candle, whoop, big drop. Small candle, small candle, small candle, working back up, whoop, big drop. You could see the drop on the day the stuff went out. Mm-hmm. So I know this guy saying that it doesn't add up, but from what I saw, I mean, you could physically see how it dropped on the same dates over 5 different time periods on 5 different dates.
Chuck's using the idea of the volume being 1%. And I recently read an article where someone did some research on Medium talking about some of the exchanges having a lot of fake volume, and they're trying to show that they're a big exchange, and he showed the volume moving in like a sinusoidal fashion. It was going up and going down and going up. It was like generated internally in a fake way. So it could be that there's an overestimation of what the volume really is, and in that regard, it would have more of an effect.
Okay, well, Tony, we're way over our
way over as usual.
Yeah. we didn't make 30 minutes again. One day we're going to make that, and we're going to just have to keep silent.
We only have
keep silent for 10 minutes just to make sure we don't make it that day. So anything else you want to go over before we get out of here?
Nope.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed today's show. A big thanks to everyone for listening and subscribing. And if you're listening on your iPhone, scroll down the page, just put your finger on it, slide it, and give us a 5-star review and a comment. That's all you got to do. You just look at your phone. You can almost do this while you're at a red light. Slide down, give us a 5-star review. And don't forget to call us with questions at 747-777-9471. Our comments, you could even say you like the show. Don't say you don't like the show, because we won't play that probably. And if you're listening to this somewhere else, like on YouTube or somewhere, and you want to subscribe, go to CryptoCousins.com/subscribe. We made an easy peasy page for you to subscribe at CryptoCousins.com/subscribe. That's it. This is Gary Leland saying goodbye. Tony?
So long, folks.
Adios, muchachos. See you later, Tony.
Bye, Gary.
Thanks for listening to the Crypto Cousins podcast. Please share this podcast with anyone you know that is interested in cryptocurrency. Your friends can subscribe on iTunes at CryptoCousins.com/iTunes and on Android at CryptoCousins.com/play. If you want to know more about Tony or Gary, just go to TonySakala.com or GaryLeland.com. Make sure and join us on the next episode, and thanks for listening. The Crypto Cousins podcast and information in the podcast are not intended as investment advice. Cryptocurrencies are risky. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Always seek professional advice before making any investment. Investing in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies may present tremendous risks. Please understand that you are using any and all information available on or through the Crypto Cousins podcast at your own risk.